The Edmonton Oilers have won the season series against the Calgary Flames, but last night's games might have had one bigger implication for Edmonton heading into the playoffs. I'll get to that in a bit, but before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Edmonton memorably opened the season series against Calgary with a win in the Heritage Classic. They then won 3-1 in January and lost 6-3 in February, meaning that tonight had the chance to decide the season series against their biggest rival. Now, in all honesty, you could tell the Edmonton Oilers had played in back-to-back games. The Calgary Flames had more scoring chances in both of the first two periods of play, and it's in that situation that you need your goaltender to step up, and Edmonton's performed very, very well yesterday. Calvin Pickard answered the bell on each of Calgary's 9 first-period shots, and then he made 17 saves on 18 second-period shots. And despite the Flames generating more scoring chances in the first, it was the inevitability of the Oilers' power play that came through, and specifically the inevitability of Leon Draisaitl on the power play, and that gave Edmonton the 1-0 lead. He beat Jacob Markstrom with a one-timer from the circle. Every time I see Draisaitl score, I think about that scene in Avengers Endgame where Thanos goes, "I am inevitable." Yeah, that one. So that's Draisaitl for me every time he's in the right circle on the power play. Every time I see Edmonton on a power play, it's almost my expectation that I'm going to inevitably see a Leon Draisaitl goal. And here we are. That made it 1-0 through 1. In the second period of play, there was a turnover that led to a 2-on-1 for the Edmonton Oilers, and while the rush kind of resulted in a broken play, you could see Derek Ryan lose the puck. It was Matthias Janmark that made a pretty good play poking it free, and in came Connor Brown to make it 2-0. Every time Connor Brown scores, I feel happy. Like, I know 4 goals and 11 points is far from a forward, or far from the expectation that the forward who had 2 20-goal seasons in his career coming in should have on his back. But, man, it does look a hell of a lot better than his 0 goals through the first 54 games he played this year. Calgary's power play would strike back through Yegor Sharangovic's 30th goal of the season to make it 2-1 through 2 periods. And Sharangovich, man, yeah, Flames fans, do you remember when you all hated the Toffoli for Sharangovich trade? And here's Sharangovich with his 30th goal of the season. And it would get even better for him because Calgary would score another power play goal to tie the game, and it came off the stick of, guess who, Yegor Sharangovich again. It wasn't his goal this time. His shot was redirected in by Nazem Kadri in front of the net to make it 2-2. 4 goals in the game, 2 of them power play goals for the Calgary Flames, one of Edmonton's 2 on the power play. Edmonton would get their second power play goal later on. They would get it through Evan Bouchard, who wired this one-timer from the top of the offensive zone, found its way in to make it 3-2 Oilers. The game ended with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins putting the puck into the empty net. Ends 4-2 Oilers. Calvin Pickard, 33 saves on 35 shots tonight. He stopped every single one of the 30 Flame shots he faced at even strength. Connor McDavid got 2 assists. That's 99 on the year for him so far, but the 2 points gave him 130 for the season. That makes him the first NHL player to record consecutive 130-point seasons since Mario Lemieux did it in 91-92 and 92-93. Draisaitl's goal today was his 40th of the season. That gives him his 5th 40-goal season, which would have been 6 in his career, save for that shortened COVID season. Draisaitl was scoring at a 45-goal pace over 82 games during that season that the Oilers competed in the Canadian division. McDavid's 99th assist, of course, also means he needs 1 more assist to become the 4th player in NHL history to have a 100-assist season. Now, we're through the Flames-Oilers game. Let's take a look at the standings, and let's look at how big last night really was for this Edmonton team, not just in their game, but in what happened elsewhere. Edmonton earned the win against the Flames, and while that was happening, Vancouver was in Los Angeles. A pair of early Canuck penalties led to a pair of early Kings power play goals, giving LA a 2-0 lead. And from there, Vancouver, in all honesty, dominated the rest of the game. They ended up out shooting LA 42-29, and that doesn't even count the 22 shots the Los Angeles Kings blocked. Every time Vancouver got a goal to make it seem like the game might go their way, they might be mounting a comeback, the Kings would score shortly after, and the game ended up being a 6-3 LA win. The big takeaway from this one for me was Casey DeSmith, and none of those goals were into an empty net. He let in 6 goals, and he finished last night's game with a Not very good looking, 793 save percentage. And, none of the goals were awful, mind you, but for the Vancouver Canucks, those goals are, they're coming at a time when they've been used to their Vezina nominee being there to make a timely save. And speaking of that player, it's Thatcher Demko. He's been hurt, and he hasn't played since March 9th. DeSmith started the year well as Demko's backup, but you can see that the fatigue of the starting goaltender minutes is really hitting him. He's now lost 4 straight games, and he's only had a save percentage above 900 in one of those 4. Demko can come off LTIR as of now. He was eligible to come off yesterday. If you don't know, when you're placed on LTIR, you have to be on there for 2 weeks at the minimum. So his 2 weeks elapsed yesterday, but Vancouver are reportedly not rushing him back, per Elliot Friedman. Vancouver hasn't beat a playoff team since Thatcher Demko's injury, and of the 5 games they have left, they have 3 playoff teams in the form of the Vegas Golden Knights, Edmonton Oilers, and Winnipeg Jets still to come. The first place Canucks in the Pacific Division have 102 points in 77 games. I'll pull the standings right back up for you, while the second placed Oilers have 99 points through 76 games. Both teams have 2 games each during this week, and ironically enough, both teams play the Vegas Golden Knights and Arizona Coyotes on home ice. Come next weekend, it's the big one, with the Oilers and the Canucks facing off at Rogers Place on Hockey Night in Canada. That's no doubt a 4-point game, and if all honesty, if Friedman's prophecy comes to pass and Demko stays out, and really if the trajectory of Casey DeSmith's play continues, the Edmonton Oilers might actually have a shot at the Pacific Division title. They might actually have a shot to move into first in the Pacific Division on Saturday against the Vancouver Canucks. If you look at the standings back in January, look at this. That was around the halfway point of the season. Edmonton in 4th place, that far back in Vancouver. I did not have an Oilers Pacific Division title on my bingo card at that point, but you know what? By the end of this week, they could very well be in 1st place. That's all going to be to watch, so be sure to stay tuned to Oilers Digest as the week goes on, and of course, pay attention to those Oilers games come Saturday. That could be a big, big one against Vancouver. Thanks for watching.